Hey guys, before I start the video, I just want to apologize if it's a little all over the place. Life got in the way. I had to break down the video basically to what it is. It was going to be about the all the biggest free agent losses the Canucks have had in their history. Then it went down to 10 seasons, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to talk about the 2020 offseason. I will eventually do the biggest free agency losses in Canucks history. Let me know in the comments who you think the biggest free agency loss in Canucks history is, and I'll be sure to put it in the video. Apologies yet again if it's a little all over the place. Life got in the way. I had a little time to make this video, so I hope it's good. I hope it's at least decent, and I hope you guys enjoy it. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be going over the off-season of despair, as I would like to call it, the 2020 off-season for the Vancouver Canucks. I wanted to go look back at this off-season because I never really got a chance to talk about it because I only started doing this season. And I really wanted to talk about this because this would have been a talking point of mine. So, the Vancouver Canucks had basically, let's start the story here, made the bubble playoffs, just barely made the bubble playoffs, and the Vancouver Canucks got in there against the Minnesota Wild and beat them in 3. And a lot of people, I think most Canucks fans thought, you know what, Minnesota will probably be our easiest thing. If we can get there and get to the first round, we can get some playoff experience for our players. We had young Quinn Hughes, Besser, Pedersen, Horvat, Miller. We had the team. We had Toffoli. We had Markstrom, Demko. We had Tanev. We had Stetcher. We had Hutton, I think, was on that team as well. Tanev was on that team too. We had Tyler Mott as well. The Vancouver Canucks went on to beat the St. Louis Blues, the defending Stanley Cup champions, in 6 games, which was awesome. It was a big boost for this team, especially how young the team was, that they would be able to push further, and this was kind of like the first step, getting luckily into the bubble just due to COVID, beating the Stanley Cup champions, defending Stanley Cup champions, and then facing Vegas, who was a juggernaut, and taking them to 7 games, all thanks to Thatcher Demko's performances. That kind of left Jacob Markstrom out to dry a little bit. So when free agency hit, a lot of Canucks fans did think Jacob Markstrom would go. We all thought Thatcher Demko would take over as the starting goaltender, but we didn't see other moves happening as well. The Canucks were heavily interested in making a move for Oliver Ekman-Larsson at the time, so they were kind of distracted. Jim Benning, man. They were kind of distracted, and then they went to try to make a move for that, and they lost so much. So, with all the contracts expiring at the time, that's not including Vertan, and this is including Stetcher, Tanev, Toffoli, Markstrom. So, Markstrom, his contract. I don't have his contract that he signed with the Flames up here. I will search it up real quick just to get it over. Jacob Markstrom. And then if I go to Puckpedia, we'll say when the Flames. It was a $6 million deal. So, we're not going to have to worry about the $6 million deal that Jacob Markstrom signed. Why? Because honestly, everyone kind of thought he was on his way out. I know a lot of people thought or wished that we could have kept him, had that goaltending duo. But with how good Demko was, it was kind of easier to go look for a backup and kind of just figure it out. The Canucks decided to go get Braden Holtby at 2 years, $4.3 million. Now, Braden Holtby was good, but he was kind of slowing down a little bit. It did not end up working out for the Canucks. So the $4.3 million deal for Holtby was not great. But you know what? They went for a backup. I'm happy for it. They spent more money on Braden Holtby than one player who ended up leaving, and that is Tyler Toffoli, who ended up signing a 4-year, $4.25 million deal with the Montreal Canadiens and tormented us the following season. That is a player that I wish they kept. $15 million in cap space. They also handed Jake Virtanen a $2.25 million deal for 2 seasons. I don't think he ended up playing throughout that full contract. Let's double check. Right here. I wonder if he's still Jake Virtanen. Yeah, you can still search him up on Puckpedia. Yeah, he only played 1 year of that contract before he would end up getting bought out. So that was a waste of contract. Canucks should not have signed it in the first place and just let him go, or if he was an RFA, just move him for a pick. He wasn't panning out. Instead, also, Troy Stecher would end up leaving on a $1.7 million deal, which they could have afforded for 2 seasons. He is that depth guy. He was the heart and soul, it felt like, of that team. He scored key goals. He was a lot of people's favorites. He was someone that a lot of Canucks fans wish they were able to keep. It was just so bad. It sucks that they let him go. It just sucks that they let him go. Another player who they decided to let go was Chris Tanev, who ended up signing a $4.5 million deal with the Calgary Flames for 4 seasons. That one we could have afforded. So let's say we gave Tanev the 4 by 4.5. That would take us down to $11 million. Then we gave let's say we gave Stecher that contract. You got 1.7. Instead of giving Hamonic $3 million, you got 1.7. Okay. And then let's say we made the move to keep, let's see, Chris Tanev. And then we made the move to keep Tyler Toffoli. $4.25 million. They bring us down to 10, so then we'd be at about $5.75 million in cap space. You can go get a backup goaltender. You could still go get Braden Holtby, and you'd probably be a little strapped to the cap, but also we'd had some re-signing. So the Holtby contract wouldn't probably have been made, but that's fine. Go get a cheaper backup goaltender, even if it doesn't work. So this was like horrid for the Canucks, and how did it turn out for them? Well, they got Travis Hamonic in kind of like a trade with the Calgary Flames. They traded for Nate Schmidt as well. He didn't end up working out. He ended up getting flipped for what we got him for, luckily. Extending Virtanen was horrible, and we had Eriksson, Beagle, and Roussel, who we could have just moved for low picks. Even if anything, just get rid of those contracts to a team that would want them. Arizona took those contracts a year later. Why not couldn't you had moved at least one of them, Louis Eriksson, and then you would be able to bring back Tyler Toffoli, who was better in your top 6. Braden Holtby ended up getting bought out by the Canucks after 1 season. Horrible signing. They just went for bad signings instead of trying to bring back the team that worked. And that is a lesson they kind of learned this past season by locking up Marcus Pettersson, locking up Drew O'Connor, those rentals that people thought were going to be rentals. They didn't trade Besser, but they ended up re-signing Besser, so they didn't lose Besser. The only person they lost this season was Pius Suter, which they replaced with Evander Kane. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, that might be a bit different, but Suter, I don't think is fit for that 2C role. Could they have gone and got a 2C with that money instead of getting Kane? Yeah. Am I disappointed they went and got size, speed, and a guy who's going to stick up for a captain? No. I think the Canucks, the reason I'm bringing this up is I think the Canucks have learned a lot from that offseason, because the fallout was horrible. We ended up missing the playoffs. It was a horrible season, and we stepped back because we didn't make the right moves. Now we brought back Besser. We re-signed Garland. We re-signed Demko. We're re-signing the people who want to stay. And then we're looking out and trying to make moves. Now, whilst we have the core locked up, now it's we learned a lot from that offseason, didn't we? Especially, we would learn more from the next offseason as it would get worse, because we made a trade for OEL and Connor Garland, which Garland worked out, but we got rid of Dylan Gunther, and now we're paying more than half of our lineup salary, like their base salary, for OEL to not play with us, to win a Stanley Cup of Florida, to play with Toronto. Is that where he was this past season? Yeah. It's not great. It wasn't great. Those last 2 off seasons for the Canucks were not great. And the reason I wanted to talk about it, I just wanted to talk about it. Say how bad it was. Because at the time, I thought it was horrible. I'm like, what are we doing? Holtby was fine. Maybe he researched the form. He didn't end up doing that. We bought him out. Nate Schmidt. That was a good pickup. Didn't work on the Canucks. Ended up getting a third for him. So at least what we did was we got him for a third, got rid of him for a third. So really we lost nothing. Jake Virtanen ended up getting bought out. But we could have brought back a guy like Toffoli, a guy like Stecher, instead of spending money on him. Hamonic, Stecher. Cheaper, more probably reliable bottom pair defenseman. Get rid of one of your big contracts. Even just get rid of the $3 million contracts, the Rooster and the Beagle contracts. Because yeah, I don't know, man. This was a bad offseason, and I'm glad the Canucks kind of learned from it and put it into this past offseason. I just wanted to talk about it because, oh my god, I was so mad at the time, and I still am mad about it now. But that is it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about that offseason at the moment, because, yeah, it's been one of the things I've always wanted to talk about if I ever started something, and I got the chance to talk about it. So that's why might as well talk about it now. So check out the video up here. The video on your right is the video from Monday. The video on your left is the video from Friday. Subscribe's right under there, I'm pretty sure. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.